Hello, it's me. It's Mark, and I'm back with another audio tutorial, and in this one, I promise you we will edit and work with some audio for real. But first, the first thing we're going to do is just a little bit of file management. I want to retread some of the things I mentioned in the last video. Pauline shared an audio clip with me, and that's what we're going to be working with today. It's called New Recording 3. It came off of her phone, and if you recall in the last video, I talked about the importance of descriptive names and creating folders and keeping your things organized. So we're going to start by renaming this file something that future self will benefit from. So Pauline on clips, and I'm going to create a folder. I'm going to call this audio lessons for the kiddos. And I'm going to put that file in that folder, and we're going to keep it safe and sound on my desktop. The next thing we need to do is open Adobe Audition, and hopefully the instructions from Jeff Harper worked for you and you've got this cleared up. Audition is part of the package that you would have downloaded and installed, and it looks like this when you launch it. The first time you launch it, you may get some extra little pop-ups offering tutorial videos and all that stuff. This is a tutorial video. Thank you for watching, but also feel free to learn as much as you want or as much as you can. Here's Adobe Audition, and this is what we will be using to edit audio with. But in order to edit something, we should open something. So let's go File, Open. Let's go to our desktop, Audio Lessons for the Kiddos, and Pauline on Clips. Now I said future self would benefit from that move, and we already have. This is what sound looks like. 0 seconds is here on the left, and it will play to the right, and the future is somewhere over there. The lines on the screen represent amplitude or loudness. So you can see here, and I will just left click and highlight this. This is something quiet. This is probably where Pauline took a pause or a breath, and the more robust, fatter sections of the waveforms are where she's speaking. I'm using a vanilla install of Adobe Audition, so I have not changed any hotkeys. I have not changed any settings except for one, and we're going to talk about this right now. But I want to make sure that what I show you is as close to what you'll be using. So let's go into the Edit menu and just change one setting real quick before we move forward. It's Preferences, General, and it's right here. Extend Selection, and I want that checked off. So you can pause the video, you can make that change, you can come back, and I will be waiting right here. So we hit OK, and that's changed, and we're going to be using that setting a lot. So let's click around here a little bit. Anywhere I click is where playback will begin from, and we know this because of this red line, which is our playback head. And if you want to ask me in one of our Zoom calls or video chats what a playback head is and what why we call it a playback head, please ask. There's kind of a neat little trivia question in there. But one hand on the keyboard, one hand on the mouse. I'm going to be using the spacebar with my thumb quite a bit, and we will play it back from over here.
Good morning, Mark, and hello from somewhere near Belleville, Ontario.
Pauline has to say while on her
okay,
little road trip.
So feel free to trim as necessary. So a clip is a segment of an interview that you choose because it says something in a very powerful or pithy or emotional way about your story. And it's something that only that person can say, and you writing the script around it couldn't say as well as them. It's not full of information. It's better if it's more full of emotion or something more powerful than you can script. And that's a clip, ideally.
That is what a clip is. Thank you, Pauline, for providing that. And I let it play through very intentionally. And what we want to do when we first sit down is familiarize ourselves with the tape that we've brought back from our interviews and our little adventures in the field. I don't need all of that. And if you recall the title slide, this is called topping and tailing. Now the top is the beginning and the tail is the end. And it's sort of those little bits before the clip and after the clip, the top and the tail. And what we will be left with at the end is the clip itself that we're going to use in our stories, our assignments going forward. So let's actually make some editorial decisions and make a clip. Here we go. I don't need this little bit at the start.
Good morning, Mark, and hello from...
I mean, it's nice that she was on a road trip. Very happy for her, all that, but I don't really care. It doesn't apply to our story. So we can skip all of this, and we will start playback right around here somewhere.
So a clip,
let's use the scroll wheel on our mouse, and we're going to zoom in. It will zoom to the cursor, and the cursor being this little, your mouse. It'll zoom to the mouse. So let's roll forward with the mouse wheel, or back if you're on Macintosh. If you're on an Apple, you actually have to roll down, but on Windows, you roll forward. So I'll try not to say one or the other too much. You'll just have to adjust according to what operating system you're on. So we want to play back from here.
So
maybe even further. If we wanted to, I could cut in between the words, but we're not quite there yet.
So a clip.
Okay, and remember I changed that setting at the beginning, extend selection. So I could left click from here, but I'm actually going to right click, and that allows you to adjust the selection. And that's the setting that we changed near the beginning of this video. Once we have highlighted something, it's the same as text, left click and drag, or right click to adjust your selection. You merely hit the delete key and it's gone.
So a clip is...
And remember, I'm hitting the space bar a lot with my thumb. I listen to audio in little slivers, so this may or may not be the most annoying thing you've ever watched, but I hope you get some benefit from it. Now let's find the end. We have the top complete. Let's take care of the tail now.
Or something more powerful than you can script.
Yeah, right in there. We don't need to listen to the whole thing. We know where she ends. We've already listened to this. So we'll zoom in. We will put our playback head a little bit before, and we're going to listen to it again.
Then you can script.
That's the end. I made note visually where that ends, so I can go back and I can click. I can right click to extend my selection to the very end of the file. I can hit delete, and if I play that back,
then you can script.
That is correct. That's exactly what we were going for. But never trust your eyes when editing something that applies to your ears. You do have to use your ears here and listen to your material as much as you can. That way you get it right. And I will show you some examples of pitfalls and stumbling blocks and things for you as you go forward. But that is a top and a tail. From here, I would merely go File, Save As. And again, this is all file management. This is really important. I'm going to call this clip. Pauline on clips. Good or something. This is way too much detail. You don't need to do this. But I did realize halfway through naming this clip, it was very similar to the source material. And we will be putting it in the audio lessons for the kiddos folder that I created at the beginning. And I'm going to save it as an MP3. There are some additional resolution settings here on this dialog, but we're going to talk about those another time. Let's hit OK. We now have a fresh file up here. And if I go back to my desktop and look in the folder, we now have the original source file that we began with, and we now have clip Pauline on clips. So that is how you top and tail. We are going to practice internal edits in the next video, and I'll see you then.